Good morning, and how you doing? Good to see you. We're a bit dark today. We're a bit dark. This is because it's dull and overcast here in the northeast. So let's see if I can figure that out. I hope you're well. Anyway, I hope you're doing all right. Are we back? We're back. Good, good. We're back. We're back. See, that's because I've ran the software for my camera, which sorts everything out, balances it all up. So I hope you're well. Bit of a glitch there. The reason there's a bit of a glitch is because it's been a bit since I've done this. So I had to find everything. I had to find me title screen in Canva and all that kind of stuff, and do all of that. But it's good. It's good to be talking to you. Really good to be talking to you. It's just been busy. It's been busy, and I know lots of you will understand that. When it gets busy, and you've got to lean in, haven't you? That's the thing. When you've got something going on, you've got to lean in, and you've got to manage things, and you've got to just make sure that you're leaning at the right thing, and you can't lean into everything all the time. As David Allen, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. Really important. So what have I been up to? Well, I'm ready to relaunch a few bits and pieces. The Patreon thing kind of was put on pause, but that's coming back. I'm going to tell you about that in a while. But I'm gonna reinstate the guided meditations weekly, which we're going well. Small numbers, but small and perfectly formed is the way forward, isn't it? So I'm gonna get that going again, and I'm gonna try Thursday night this time. So I'll share links to that here and in various places. One of the things that I was reading recently, because I have been busy. I haven't just been ignoring you because I don't love you anymore, because that's not true. Um, so I've been busy, and one of the things that I was reading during that busy period, because I was preparing for a couple of conferences I was speaking at, and I was kind of reading up on stuff. I was speaking to teachers at one of these things, and one of the things I wanted to just check out, although why, I don't know when you hear what I say. I wanted to check out that just the same things that I talk to social workers about, and the same things that I talk to general people in the workplace about, were relevant to teachers as well. And lo and behold, it turns out that the same things that help social workers and general kind of work population people are exactly the same thing that help teachers. And there's a reason for that, isn't there? There's a reason for that. And the reason for that is it's because we're all the same. Well, we're all uniquely different and beautiful in our own ways, but fundamentally, we're all rooted down in the same biology, um, broadly speaking. You so that kind of got me. That kind of got me over that little hurdle. But one of the things I was reading when I was preparing for that was a Spanish study that showed that the people who engage in self-care the least are the people who need it the most. So when you get busy, the first thing to go is the self-care routines. And that's really interesting, isn't it? Because the busier you become, the more important those self-care routines become. If you've heard me speak before, I usually finish with a slide that says you should spend 20 minutes in meditation every day, unless you're too busy to spend 20 minutes. Then you should spend an hour. And it makes the point that, the busier you are, the more you need the self-care, the more you need to be doing these things, and me, self-care is a broad thing. It's all the usual stuff you'd think about, like the hedonistic stuff, like bubble baths and candles, and baking a cake, and going to the gym, and all those kind of things. But it's lots of other things as well, isn't it? And it's about, when you're busy, for me anyway, it's about returning yourself back to why you do things. And I've talked about that before. But it's also about establishing really good habits, because if you keep doing the same habits, you get the same results. I've said that before many times. So when you're at your busiest, when you've got the least time to do things that you need to do to keep yourself well, you've got to find ways to do something. And one of the things, I think I maybe mentioned this at the start of the year when I did a few lives early on in the year. One of the things is remembering that it just has to be small things over a period of time lead to big results. So one of the things I've been doing with my friend Jamie is that every day, he set this up. It was a TikTok thing or an Instagram reel thing, and I've seen it a few times, different people kind of talking about it. It was this 50 challenge. Sure, I mentioned it earlier in the year. We started it in December because, again, Christmas is a period where our self-care goes off the radar, doesn't it? Because we're busy then as well. And we've been doing 50 press-ups, 50 squats, 50 lunges, 50-second wall sit, 50-second plank. Now, and you don't have to do them all in one go. I'm hopeless at press-ups, so I chip away at them. And I've integrated it into my stretching routine as well. So I do 10, and then I do some stretches, then I do another 10, do some stretches, that kind of thing. And I know sometimes both myself and Jamie, we do them across the whole day, little things, and you can integrate those into your little mini breaks that you have every hour. So we were doing that. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I didn't notice any change to start with. I noticed nothing really. I was doing these press ups, I was doing these, these squats and stuff, and I was thinking, well, this doesn't appear to be making much difference because it's actually not a lot. It takes me 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes if I integrate my stretches. Not a lot. That's not a lot of exercise. But what we know, and this is this thing that Dave Brailsford took over the British cycling team. I probably told you the story before. And when Dave Brailsford took over the British cycling team in 2003, British cycling was at a low ebb. And he came in and people were like, oh, what are you going to change? You're going to make dramatic transformations. And he said, no, I'm going to use a thing called the aggregation of marginal gains. And he says, I'm going to break down cycling into every constituent part, and I'm going to find a 1% gain in those areas. So during this busy time, if I was going to do no exercise at all, which is highly likely because I've been dead busy, getting to the gym has suffered, going out running suffered, haven't stopped doing those things completely, but I'm not doing them as much. So the little 1% thing I can do is this 50 challenge, and I've done that, and then little things started to happen. I would be getting up out the chair on a night, and I'd think, oh, I got up easier there than I normally do. Getting in and out the car, oh, I got out the car there easier than I normally do. So little things kind of over a long period of time. So we've been doing this one now, I think coming up to December to January to February, coming up 3 months. Coming up 3 months, I think it's about 3 months actually. I think we started around about the 9th of December, something like that. That aggregation of marginal gains means now the press ups are a lot easier. I'm still on my knees. I still have to do modified press ups. There's a lot of me to move up and down, so I'm still doing modified press ups. But now I used to really struggle to get 10 out, and then the next 10, etc. But now I can do 20, 25 without any problem. And then I can knock the next maybe 15 to 20 off without any problem. And then I finish off the last few. So those small steps, and I've integrated it into my my stretching. Now, this is a thing called habit stacking. And habit stacking says, well, if you're doing one thing already, and I've the stretching routine for me is well embedded on a morning. Mostly on the morning, other times of the day, sometimes it's well embedded in what I do. Because, I'm not very stretchy. I'm not very supple. I have had a kind of tight back and tight hips over the years, and still have, but I kind of stretch to kind of maintain it. So I'm already doing that. So stack the 50s into that, and it becomes really easier. Like I do cold showers, so I'm already in the shower, so that's easy. So habit stacking is a really good way. Think of something that you already do. Like another example, which is a bit of a win-win, is when I go out walking the dog. Sometimes I like to just walk in silence, but other times I kind of read a book. You know what I mean? Well, listen to a book in my head. And there's a few things, we have to visualize where we're going. Our habits aren't set in stone. We can visualize where we want to be, and I want to do some bike rides over the summer. So I visualize myself doing that. And it's this, you cannot be what you cannot see thing, and it's Aristotle. Aristotle said actions follow being, so what are you going to be? What are you going to be? And what you're going to be fuels your discipline to do the things that you need to do to get to that target. Small steps. So, what habits do you want to develop? Maybe what habits do you want to overcome? Keller and Paterson in their book, I think, theirs is the one thing. They said success is a short race, because actually you just have to sprint, fueled with discipline, they say, just long enough for the habit to kick in and take over. So we have to try and do that. One of the problems is that, one of the problems and positives is that habits can be an anchor. Habits anchor us to something. Now, they anchor us to emotional content. We do something, we feel a way, so we go to whatever our habit is that's anchored to that feeling. So that's sometimes how we establish bad habits. For a good while, I haven't been drinking since Christmas. Alcohol. I've had water. Don't worry. I haven't been drinking alcohol since Christmas. And I just had a habit where I'd have a glass of wine on a night, unconsciously, because it was tethered to, this is my time, this is when I relax. No, there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine on a night, but when it becomes a daily ritual that's maybe not good for you and leads to another glass of wine, that's problematic. So anchors sometimes weigh us down, but anchors can also root us in something positive and keep us steady. That the anchor, when the ship weighs the anchor in harbour, it's about keeping the ship steady, isn't it? And we need to be anchored to things sometimes to kind of give ourselves some stability from which to set sail out of the harbour the next day or the next week or the next month or whatever it happens to be. So we need to think about that in terms of our kind of long-term strategies. Where are we heading for, and what are our habits kind of anchoring us to? Are they anchoring us to positive things? Are they anchoring us to negative things? My having a couple of drinks every night was anchoring me to a bit of a thick head the following day. Now my anchor now is Guinness 0.0. Well, there's a triumph. There's a triumph of the capitalist world, if ever there was one. You can't buy it anywhere for love and money. Clearly, people like it. So we have to. That's been a good anchor for me. So I'm anchored to that now, and I have one or two of those on a night, and that satisfies that craving. And a craving is kind of a motivational force behind the habit. So I've shifted that habit to something a bit more healthier. I'm still having a drink on a night, but it's not alcoholic. And one of the things we have to crave is identity. We have to crave a particular identity. So I'm craving the identity of being healthy, being fit. My response has been to negate some negative habits and put some good habits in the way, but I'm taking small steps, and then our response then delivers the reward. I feel healthier, and I feel healthier for doing the 50s, and I feel healthier for shifting my focus to the Guinness 0.0, and other products are available. So when you think about our cravings, because they motivate us in particular directions, usually all behaviors that we have usually satisfy some sort of need in us. Well, they all do. It's not that they might, they do. What we do satisfies some sort of need in us. So we have to think, what's the craving? What's the need that has been furnished by that particular habit? And then we need to figure out what the response is to that, and then deliver the reward. So there you are. That's habits. It's good to talk to you. I hope it's good to see me. And it's Sunday, which is unusual, but I'm going to try and get back to some midweek things as well. But I just thought, got quite a day today. Got a lot done yesterday, so I just thought I'd take some time out and deliver some material for you. Have a chance to kind of tell you some stuff. What's coming up? Well, I've got some ideas. Of things that might be useful. I was delivering a session on. Was it Friday? I was doing a session on Friday about decision making, critical thinking for decision making. And I was talking to Jill afterwards, and the conversation got me very motivated. Indeed. And I've got something else coming up that's motivated me to get back into delivering the guided meditations. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to share the link if you want to come along to the guided meditation on Zoom. The meeting is there for an hour, but it's not an hour. Probably half an hour is probably. I just like to give myself some wiggle room, but it'll be about half an hour, little bit of a chat into the guided meditation. Done, on with your night, happy days, and you'll feel so much better for it. Meditation I think it has to be a go-to for us all in managing the emotional content of our lives. People that meditate are, for the most part, better at emotional regulation. It's that ability to step back. It's that ability to acknowledge our thoughts, but not be kind of dragged into them when it's inappropriate to be dragged into them. And meditation, literally, thoughts coming into your head and you acknowledging them but letting them go and refocusing on your breath, literally that is meditation practice. So all that stuff about, I just do keep thinking of things. Yeah, I know you do. That's fine. The practice is to not think. The practice is to acknowledge it and then move it to one side while you refocus yourself, and you become better at doing that. So there's that. The other thing I want to do, and I'm toying with names for this. I'm thinking of launching, and tell me what you think of this. I'm thinking of launching maybe a monthly, maybe a fortnightly kind of hour-long, maybe drop-in thing, where we talk productivity, where we talk self-care, where we talk well-being, where we talk about whatever people bring to the table. There's the usual things I do, about all sorts, the self-care stuff, email management, working from home, the positives and negatives of that, keeping yourself well, being organized, deep work, eat your elephants, eat your frogs, all those kind of things, talk about those kind of things, but being a live thing with you guys there. So like this, but with you there, being able to ask questions and bring your concerns, bring your issues. Maybe, like, I don't want to big myself up at all, but maybe like a mentor kind of role. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking. So tell me what you think of that, and we can initiate that. I'm thinking of initiating that after the Easter recess. So there you go. Go and find Patreon. Go and find me on Patreon. There's a free tier where at the minute nearly everything is on there free. There's one or two things that are part of the paid tier, which is just a few quid. So you could help me out by signing up to the free tier or the paid one. Happy days. But at least go and sign up to the free tier, because what I'm trying to do is amalgamate everything there. Bit fed up with social media, to be honest. I want to amalgamate something. I want to amalgamate everything somewhere where I don't get drawn into Twitter storms and the like. So it's all going on there. Anything like this will remain free on the Patreon platform, and there are going to be some layers of other stuff on the paid tiers. If you don't know how Patreon works, go and have a look. There's some interesting stuff up there. So there you go. Have a good rest of your weekend. Sunday, here we are, and try and just relax a bit. Try and not think too much of tomorrow, and then we'll hit tomorrow running. Or maybe a gentle jog. So okay, take care. See you soon.